Just 2 minutes ago, the basketball world was hit with a seismic shock one that no one saw coming, but everyone feels in their gut. In a moment that will be remembered and debated for years to come, Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White dropped a statement so bold, so raw, and so unfiltered, it's already sending shockwaves through the WNBA and beyond. Standing just outside a closed-door team meeting, she looked straight into the cameras and said the unthinkable. Caitlin Clark is not our part anymore. No explanation, no context, just a cold, calculated declaration that has left fans reeling and insiders scrambling to make sense of it all. Caitlin Clark, the golden girl of the game, the record-breaking rookie, the face of the league's new generation, suddenly cast aside by the very team that once claimed to be building a dynasty around her. This isn't just unexpected, it's unheard of. Social media is already in meltdown. Fans are crying betrayal, former teammates are posting cryptic quotes, and league officials completely blindsided. What could have pushed Stephanie White to deliver such a chilling, divisive statement? Was there a power struggle behind the scenes, a clash of egos? Or is this part of a deeper conspiracy to reshape the face of women's basketball and remove the one player they couldn't control? We've dug deep, spoken to insiders, uncovered secret footage, and found text exchanges that reveal a side of this drama the public was never supposed to see. Because what's happening behind the curtain is messier, uglier, and far more personal than anyone imagined. Buckle up, because the truth behind Stephanie White's shocking words is darker than headlines suggest, and Caitlin Clark's future may never be the same. This is about to get major. It was supposed to be a celebration. The Indiana Fever had just pulled off a nail-biting win. The locker room was buzzing, and reporters were lined up outside, eager to hear from the franchise's rising star, Caitlin Clark. But what happened next flipped the script on everything. As the locker room doors opened and cameras rolled, it wasn't Caitlin who stepped out first, it was head coach Stephanie White. And with a tone sharper than steel and eyes that gave nothing away, she said the sentence that would send shockwaves through the sports world. Caitlin Clark is not our part anymore. There was no stutter, no smile, no further elaboration. She turned, walked back into the locker room, and slammed the door. The hallway went silent. Stunned reporters stood, frozen. Phones lit up instantly. Within seconds, the clip was everywhere. And just like that, what should have been a night of triumph spiraled into one of the biggest controversies in WNBA history. The fallout was immediate. Social media erupted. What does that mean became a trending phrase. On TikTok, fans posted reaction videos in real time, some crying, others screaming, most of them just plain confused. News outlets rushed to break the story, but no one had answers. The Indiana Fever's media team went radio silent, refusing all requests for comment. Caitlin Clark's personal social media accounts were suddenly dormant, and for the first time in her career, she was nowhere to be seen post-game. No press, no interviews, no subtle tweets, just silence. Behind the scenes, insiders were already piecing together what really happened, and what they discovered was nothing short of explosive. Tensions between Caitlin and Stephanie had been simmering for weeks. A feud that many tried to keep quiet was now threatening to boil over in front of the entire world. Multiple sources confirmed that Caitlin had begun asserting herself more aggressively during practices, challenging play calls, and voicing frustration over what she believed was intentional isolation on the court. They iced her out, said one assistant coach off the record. Plays were being rerouted last minute. She was being made to look like she was hogging the ball when really, she wasn't even part of the designed offensive schemes. The divide didn't start overnight. It had been growing from the moment Caitlin was drafted. Some teammates reportedly felt threatened by the media circus that followed her everywhere. Others whispered about favoritism, claiming she got more lenient treatment, more PR protection, more say in locker room politics. But according to insiders, Caitlin's so-called star treatment wasn't her doing. She didn't ask for the attention. One team staffer revealed she was the attention. It came with the territory. But that didn't sit well with the veterans, especially the ones who've been grinding for years and never got that kind of spotlight. One incident in particular seemed to spark the chain reaction that led to Stephanie White's now infamous comment. During a mid-season practice, Caitlin reportedly got into a heated exchange with Stephanie. It began over something as simple as a missed screen, but witnesses say it escalated fast. Caitlin said, "This play doesn't make sense. It puts me out of position every time." And Stephanie snapped back with, "You're not here to coach. You're here to listen." The room went quiet. Caitlin replied, "I'm not just here to run around like a decoy. I came to play." That moment marked a turning point. From then on, things changed, subtle at first. Caitlin's minutes fluctuated unpredictably. She was benched during crucial fourth quarters. Cameras caught her frustration multiple times, lips pursed, eyes scanning the bench for answers that never came. Teammates started acting distant. In post-game interviews, when asked about team chemistry, Caitlin's responses grew colder. "We're working through things. It's a process. Not everyone has to be best friends to win." The tension was unmistakable and fans noticed. Comment sections on Fever highlight reels turned into battlegrounds. Some blamed the coach, others blamed the vets. But most were confused why the franchise's marquee rookie was being treated like a problem instead of an asset. The locker room, too, was becoming a battlefield. Reports surfaced of cliques forming players choosing sides. Those loyal to Caitlin and those aligned with Stephanie and the veterans. One anonymous player reportedly told a friend, "It's like high school all over again. You've got to pick a lunch table or risk sitting alone." The divide became impossible to ignore. Practice footage leaked showing Caitlin practicing alone while the rest of the team scrimmaged on the other. And team bonding events were held without her. And during a charity gala where all players were expected to appear, Caitlin was notably absent. The official excuse was flu symptoms, but insiders claim she simply wasn't invited. And yet, despite all of it, Caitlin kept showing up, kept playing, kept delivering highlight reel performances that drew fans in droves. She led the team in assists, in three-pointers, in overall hustle. But every time she started gaining momentum, someone seemed to pull it back. Analysts began questioning the coaching decisions. Why bench your best shooter in clutch moments? ESPN ran a full segment breaking down her declining minutes. "This isn't strategy, it's sabotage," one commentator said bluntly. It was during this storm of media scrutiny that the most shocking twist arrived. A private voice memo, allegedly from a closed-door team leadership meeting, was leaked anonymously to a basketball podcast. In the audio, a woman believed to be Stephanie White is heard saying, "She wants to run the show. Then she can go find her own stage. This isn't the Caitlin Clark show. This is a team. And if she can't figure that out, then maybe she's not our part anymore." That phrase, "not our part anymore," the same word Stephanie had used in her shocking post-game statement. Now confirmed as premeditated, the internet erupted, fans felt betrayed. "You knew you were going to say it. You planned it," one viral tweet screamed, "How do you treat the biggest rookie of the year like she's disposable?" The comment threads were brutal. The WNBA's official page was flooded with fans demanding answers. Petitions were launched. Some even threatened to boycott Fever games until Caitlin was respected properly. But amidst the chaos, one question remained unanswered. Where was Caitlin now? Why had she gone silent, and what would she say when she finally broke that silence? Her supporters waited desperately for a response. Tweet, something. But days passed, and the silence grew heavier. Until one post changed everything. Caitlin's older brother, Blake Clark, took to X, formerly Twitter, with a message that lit the fire back up. "Funny how y'all love her when she scores, but hate her when she speaks." She didn't leave the team. The team left her. Fans went wild. He followed it with another cryptic post. If only y'all heard what was said behind closed doors. But don't worry, you will. A subtle warning. Or a promise, and then, almost as if timed perfectly, Caitlyn reappeared. Not on court, not in a press conference, but in a video posted to her Instagram story. Just a simple shot of her shooting hoops alone at a private gym. The caption, one line, not their part. Still mine, no tags, no explanations. Just a statement that hit harder than any three-pointer she'd ever sunk. The message was clear. She wasn't done, not even close. The moment Caitlin Clark posted that now legendary video just her, a dimly lit gym, and the sharp sound of the ball swishing through the net, the tone of the entire narrative shifted. The world had seen her angry. They'd seen her frustrated. But this was different. This was controlled. This was intentional, and it was war. Within hours, hashtags like #StillMine, #FreeCaitlyn, and #ClarkVSFever trended globally. It wasn't just WNBA fans chiming in now. NBA stars, celebrities, and even pop culture influencers began weighing in. Damian Lillard retweeted the video. With a fire emoji, Billie Eilish dropped a comment that simply read, "She's that girl." Even LeBron James, never one to step lightly into WNBA drama, reposted the clip to his story with the caption, "Respect the new era," or "Step aside." Stephanie White, meanwhile, remained dead silent. No press appearance, no social media activity, just silence. But for insiders, the quiet only confirmed one thing. Behind closed doors, panic was setting in. The Indiana Fever franchise had unknowingly just turned its biggest asset into its most dangerous critic, and the world was now rallying behind her. Sources from inside the Fever's organization described an environment spiraling into chaos. One assistant coach described it as tense to the point of choking. Meetings were held daily, some lasting late into the night. PR teams argued with coaching staff, legal advisors were brought in. But the damage was already done. And Caitlyn, she wasn't waiting for permission anymore. That weekend, she appeared at a private training camp hosted by former WNBA icon Sue Bird. Cameras captured her hugging Sue, laughing with her, even shooting drills with Diana Taurasi. This is what basketball should feel like, one insider overheard Caitlyn saying, and if that wasn't enough, ESPN broke a bombshell story just hours later. Caitlin Clark was in early talks with another franchise. While league trades weren't common for rookies this early in the season, the article made it clear multiple teams were aggressively pursuing her, should she become available. Phoenix, Seattle, and even Las Vegas were all allegedly on the list. And then came the twist no one saw coming. A leaked text thread allegedly from Stephanie White's own phone was shared anonymously with multiple sports blogs. In it, Stephanie appears to vent to a staff member, "I'm so tired of the diva behavior. She's a brand, not a player. Every move feels like a PR stunt. This isn't college anymore." She needs to be reminded of that. The screenshots ignited a firestorm. If there was any doubt about the personal nature of Stephanie's feelings, it was now gone. This wasn't about strategy. It was about ego, about power, about control, and Caitlyn. She still said nothing directly. Instead, she let the pressure build. She let the outrage grow. She let Stephanie's silence scream louder than any statement. But fans knew it was only a matter of time before Caitlyn's next move, and when it came, it changed everything. Just 4 days after the original fallout, Caitlyn sat down for an unannounced, exclusive, one-on-one interview on the YouTube channel. Real Talk Hoops, hosted by retired WNBA legend Swin Cash. No fancy press, no team branding, just Caitlyn, a chair, and the truth. And she came ready. The truth is, she began slowly. "I didn't expect to have to defend myself this early in my career. I thought I earned my place. I thought being Drafted meant I was accepted, but it didn't. It meant I walked into a battlefield I wasn't prepared for. Swin leaned forward. What happened? Caitlin hesitated, then exhaled deeply. They never wanted me. Not really. They wanted what I represented, tickets, bus sponsorships, but not me the person. The teammate, the competitor. They kept telling me to blend in, to follow the system, to pay my dues. But when I asked why the place excluded me, they said I was too loud, too much. She paused, her voice trembling. It got to the point where I'd walk into practice and feel like a ghost. The ball would never come to me. I'd call for it nothing. I'd make a cut ignored. I was being erased one play at a time. Swin shook her head. So what finally broke you? Caitlin looked straight into the camera. When the coach said I wasn't part of the team anymore. Not to me, to the world. That's when I knew it was never about basketball. It was about control, and I'm done being controlled. The clip went viral within the hour. News anchors interrupted sports segments to air pieces of the interview. Talk shows debated every sentence. Twitter became a war zone. She's right. She's a diva. She's exposing the truth. She's destroying the locker room. The nation was split, but they were watching. Meanwhile, Stephanie White was finally cornered. At a mandatory media day, she was forced to address the issue. But her statement only poured gasoline on the fire. I stand by what I said, she told reporters. Teams are families. And sometimes, even the most talented family members don't fit the energy we're trying to build. Caitlin is a tremendous athlete, but not every athlete is a team player. We moved forward with unity. The backlash was instant. So now she's not a team player. That's how you talk about a rookie carrying your franchise, even. WNBA veterans began speaking up. Candace Parker tweeted, "Leadership isn't about control. It's about collaboration." Always, Elena Daldun added, "Rookies need mentorship, not exile." And then boom, the next bombshell dropped. A secretly recorded audio clip captured during a pregame team meeting and leaked anonymously to a sports blog revealed what sounded like Stephanie White instructing the team to keep the energy cold around Caitlin during the game. Don't. Let her dominate the mood. Let her earn her spot like everyone else. It was raw, it was damning, and it confirmed what many had suspected all along. Caitlin wasn't just being ignored. She was being targeted. As fans digested this latest leak, footage emerged of a heated exchange during halftime at a previous game. Caitlin and Stephanie face to face, clearly arguing. Caitlin points toward the bench, yelling, "You're not even trying to hide it anymore." While Stephanie turns her back and says something inaudible, walking away as the assistant coach steps between them. The cracks had become canyons. Sponsors began pulling ads from Fever broadcasts. The team's official merchandise site removed all Caitlin Clark-related products only for fans to notice and call them out viciously. The backlash forced them to restore the listings, but the message was clear. The team was still trying to ice her out, even as she became the hottest topic in professional sports. Through it all, Caitlin remained composed. No dramatic outbursts, no online feuds. Just quiet, steady persistence, training, working, speaking her truth only when necessary. But the league could no longer sit on the sidelines. The WNBA commissioner herself issued a public statement. Every player, regardless of rank, deserves an environment of respect, support, and fair play. We are reviewing the events surrounding the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark's treatment to ensure our league's values are upheld. The situation had gone from tense to nuclear. And Caitlin Clark was now no longer just a basketball player. She was a symbol, a lightning rod, a movement. The only question now was, what would she do next? The world held its breath. After everything, Stephanie White's cold dismissal, the leaked text messages, the audio recordings, the awkward silences from the franchise, everyone was asking the same question. Would Caitlin Clark stay with the Indiana Fever? Or was she preparing for the most dramatic walkout in WNBA history? Rumors were flying faster than reporters could confirm them. One moment, sources were whispering that Clark had cleaned out her locker. The next, insider blogs claimed she was negotiating a trade with Phoenix. Then another twist, Caitlin was spotted arriving at the Fever's training facility at dawn. No entourage, no cameras, just her and Jim Begg. One security guard reportedly asked if she wanted to sneak in the back. Her answer, "No, I want them to see me walk in." That image of Caitlin Clark walking into the lion's den, head held high, alone spread across social media like wildfire. She wasn't backing down. She was walking straight into the chaos she'd been thrown into and daring them to deal with it. But inside those walls, the atmosphere was anything but calm. Players who had once whispered behind her back were now facing the fallout of a public meltdown. The team's veterans, some of whom had privately voiced resentment toward Caitlin's fame, were now being bombarded by angry fans on social media. You were supposed to mentor her, not destroy her. Is this really what teamwork looks like? Even players who had nothing to do with the drama were being dragged into it. The locker room was no longer a place for bonding. It was a war zone of passive-aggressive silences and awkward sidesteps. And then, for the first time since the controversy began, Caitlin Clark addressed the entire team. Not with cameras, not with reporters, just her and the women she had been playing. Besides some silently against her, others still unsure where to stand. According to an insider who witnessed the moment, Caitlin stood in the center of the locker room, took a deep breath, and said, "I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to win, but don't confuse my silence for surrender. I've been disrespected. Lead to, and ice out, and I'm still standing. That should tell you everything about who I am." One player, a second-year guard, reportedly broke down in tears after the speech. "We were wrong," she said quietly. "We let this happen." Others avoided eye contact. Stephanie White wasn't present for the speech, but sources confirmed she had been watching from the security room. And when Caitlin walked past her office door after practice, the two locked eyes for the first time since the fallout. Neither spoke, but the tension between them could have broken glass. Still, Caitlin showed up the next day, and the day after that. Her performance at practice was unstoppable. She sank shots from the arc. She ran faster, harder, more focused than anyone on the court. The coaching staff, begrudgingly, had to acknowledge her presence, but the disconnect with Stephanie remained icy cold. Then came the moment that forced everyone to confront the firestorm they had tried to contain. Game day, it was supposed to be routine, a mid-season matchup against a mid-tier team. But this game was different. Because this was the first time since the drama exploded that Caitlin Clark would be playing in front of fans, cameras, and national broadcast. The world was watching and everyone was waiting to see, would she rise? Or would the friction consume her? From the moment Caitlin stepped onto the court, the arena erupted. Fans wore her jersey. They chanted her name. They held up signs that read, "Still ours and you don't own her. She owns you." The energy was electric. Fever teammates exchanged glances. Stephanie White stood motionless on the sidelines, but Caitlin, she looked calm, confident, ready. The game started. Slow, Caitlin passed the ball with calculated precision, making smart plays but not forcing herself into the spotlight. Analysts noted the change. "She's not playing angry," one commentator said. "She's playing focused." But then, in the third quarter with the game tied and tensions thick, everything shifted. Caitlin intercepted a pass at midcourt, raced toward the basket, and executed a behind-the-back dribble that sent the defender spinning. She jumped, twisted in the air, and nailed a three-pointer that sent the crowd into a frenzy. The bench exploded except for one person. Stephanie White, arms folded, jaw clenched, refusing to clap. The camera zoomed in. The moment was caught. And in the replay, fans noticed something jaw-dropping. After hitting the shot, Caitlin turned her gaze straight at Stephanie and mouthed, "Still not your part? How?" The internet broke in half. That single shot became the image of the season. Memes exploded. One fan edited it into a fake ESPN magazine cover with the headline, "The player they couldn't erase." Even late-night talk shows picked it up. Jimmy Fallon joked, "Caitlin Clark doesn't need your playbook, she is the playbook." But behind the laughter was a deeper message. She had refused to disappear. And now her legend was bigger than ever. But the game wasn't done. In the final minute, with the Fever trailing by 2, Caitlin took the ball at the top of the key. Teammates tried to run the designated play, but she waved them off. Eyes locked on the rim, she took the shot. Buzzer, net, game over, Fever wins. The stadium lost its mind, and this time, even her teammates couldn't hold back. They rushed her, they hugged her. One player whispered in her ear, "You just saved this whole damn team." But when Caitlin looked to the bench, Stephanie was gone. She had walked away with 15 seconds left on the clock. The headlines were immediate. Stephanie White walks out as Clark wins game. Coach abandons court during rookies. Redemption, the media turned on her like a pack of wolves. Talk shows criticized her professionalism. Former WNBA players called it the most disrespectful moment in modern basketball. Fans demanded answers, but none came. Instead, Stephanie released a cold, generic statement the next morning. Sometimes, leadership means knowing when your presence is no longer productive. "I choose to let my team have their moment." The internet laughed. "You didn't let them have anything," one user tweeted. "You got dragged off the throne." Meanwhile, Caitlin's rise had just begun. She appeared on The Shop, discussing mental toughness. She was interviewed by 60 Minutes, speaking candidly about locker room politics. Brands lined up. Nike offered her a signature shoe. Gatorade released a new ad campaign with the tagline, "Uncheckable, Unbreakable, Clark." She had become more than an athlete. She was a symbol of resistance, power, and purpose. But the Fever, they were spiraling. Ticket sales boomed. Sure, but internally, they were fractured. Stephanie's leadership was under review. Several assistant coaches resigned quietly. And sources close to the organization confirmed what fans had already suspected. Trade discussions were no longer off the table. But the twist, it wasn't Caitlin being shopped around. It was Stephanie. Franchise owners had reportedly called an emergency meeting. Discussions were held. Evaluations were made. And in a last-minute decision before the All-Star break, it was announced Stephanie White had been relieved of her coaching duties. "We thank Coach White for her service, but feel it's time for new leadership," the statement read. The reaction, fans cheered, players breathed easier, and Caitlin. She posted a single image to her Instagram story, her sneakers at center court, the caption reading, "Sometimes silence speaks loudest." But the story wasn't over, not even close. When the news broke that Stephanie White had been removed from her position, the WNBA world didn't just respond, it erupted. After weeks of tension, betrayal, and whispered sabotage, the firing marked the climax of a scandal that had held an entire league hostage. The Indiana Fever's announcement came late at night, tacked quietly into a short, PR-polished paragraph. But the timing did little to soften the impact. Within minutes, Stephanie White fired was trending across every platform. Fans rejoiced, analysts sighed with relief. And rival franchises watched with wide eyes, realizing just how much power one rookie now held in her hands. But Caitlin Clark wasn't celebrating, at least not publicly. When reporters swarmed her outside the Fever training facility the next morning, she said very little. "I'm focused on basketball," she muttered. "That's what I came here to do." Yet.